Hallo zusammen, ich bin Lao Yan. Das Boao-Asien-Forum bietet eine Plattform für Regierungen, Unternehmen und Wissenschaftler, um über Lösungsansätze für politische und wirtschaftliche Herausforderungen zu diskutieren. Bei einem Interview mit mir hat Professor Carl Fei von der renommierten Norwegischen Handelshochschule über die Perspektive der chinesischen Wirtschaft gesprochen.
I think China will make its 5% target. You know, when the Chinese government sets a target, they normally find a way to make that, which is one of the good things about China. We know what to expect, and you know, we see, by the way, in the U.S. right now, where the stock market has not been doing so well. Well, the last few days it was up, but the week before was really not good. One of the key challenges is the unpredictability. A little bit hard to know what Trump is wanting to do in the U.S. In China, the stability that the government has predicted or projected is really helpful. But I do think the government is going to have to do more to stimulate the economy to reach that 5% target. And I think that one thing that's really good is that China tends to focus on stimulating individual and company investment rather than just giving some money to people. So some countries give some money to people if they want them to spend more. You don't know, they might go and have a beer in the evening. But China is, for example, giving some subsidies if people are going to buy an electric vehicle, or if they're going to buy a new refrigerator, or if a company is going to buy new equipment for their factory. This is helpful because it not only helps in the current year, but it helps the company and people to be more effective even in future years. So I think this is a good policy from China, and I'm confident that China is going to meet this 5% growth target. And you know, a lot of news in the world has been talking about, oh, China's slowing down to only 5%, because you know, for many years China was at 7% or even higher growth. But in fact, most countries in the world would be just dreaming if they could have even just 4% or 5% growth. So it's important to realize that this is still really quite high if we compare globally. Every political system has some advantages and some disadvantages. One of the real advantages of the communist system in China is stability. So absolutely, that's really helpful. Companies in general can perform better if they understand what's going to happen, even if what's going to happen is not really what they would like. And so this is one of the strengths of China, that they've really been able to inject you know, stability. And a few weeks ago, when the two sessions took place in China, you know, we heard what the government is planning to do. And I think most people can be quite confident that what the government has said they're going to do in China really happens. So you know, that's one of the strengths of the Chinese system. So China has step by step become more open in terms of allowing different companies in different industries to come in. It used to be quite a restricted set of industries that companies could work in China in. Now it's really most industries are open. They've also worked to level the playing field so that there's less discrimination against foreign companies, and also that there are better conditions for foreign companies. You know, the number one thing that foreign companies complained about historically in China is intellectual property protection. Now China has done a lot to improve that. And now maybe the thing that could be worked on is that you can win a legal case if some company infringes on your IPR. But the amount of money you can win is much smaller than in Europe or the US. Maybe that amount of money could go up in China. But actually what China needs to do the most is to actually advertise to the world the changes that have taken place. You would be very surprised living here in China, but so many people, when I'm back in Europe or in the United States, just have big misconceptions about what China is today. And so maybe the most important thing to increase foreign business activity in China is to make the rest of the world truly understand the transition that is taking place